All right, let's talk a little bit about foundation. The thing I really love about Savvy Minerals is these mineral foundations are very forgiving. So when they first came out, I saw there was 3 colors for the cool side, 3 for the warm side, and then 4 dark. And I instantly was like, this is not gonna work. This is not enough colors for different skin tones. But what I found is that they're really almost like a chameleon color where they blend your skin really well without looking made up, but they also can kind of work with different shades. So I currently am wearing a warm 2. In the summertime, I can either wear warm 3 or dark 1. There really isn't a huge difference in the way that they look on my skin. So just be aware that as long as it's close to what you think you need, it's probably gonna work. And I love that these are so simple. Like, it really makes doing your face in 5 minutes possible. So the next thing is the Savvy Minerals Misting Spray. This is like a must-have for me. It's really great to spray your brush beforehand and get your brush a little bit wet. It's gonna help those minerals go on easier. It's kind of like a hybrid. I don't know if you've ever seen other like cream to powder makeups. So it would be similar to that effect where it goes on kind of wet and then dries. Another worry I have very dry skin, and I was a little concerned with it highlighting the dryness. I put a lot of lotion on first, so I put my moisturizer on first. I kind of let that soak in, and then I do the Renewal Serum as my primer, and that creates a good base, but this does not highlight any dry areas like you would maybe expect a powder to. It really just kind of blends my skin tone all over, and you can't really see it at all. So the first thing I'm gonna do is take the Art Renewal Serum. You really only need the tiniest little bit, so I'm doing like half of a pump. It's just a tiny bit there. And I like to rub it between my fingers first and then put it all over my face. So this is gonna kind of help smooth everything and get a really good start before I start putting the foundation on. So if you have areas that you feel like need a little bit more coverage than others, I like to start out by concealing those first and then doing my foundation all over. I found that it tends to kind of minimize that effect of it looking noticeable that I've done that. So to do that, I am using the Savvy Minerals brushes. This is the concealer brush. The nice thing about these brushes is it has a label on the bottom that tells you what it's intended for. You don't necessarily have to use it for that, but it kind of takes the guessing game out for people who maybe aren't used to using makeup. And then this is that color Warm 2. I usually tap the top just in case there's some in there. I don't want it really going everywhere. Then you're just gonna spray your brush. I like to spray it twice. Then I just kind of fan it a little bit. And then I'm dipping this into the powder and then tapping off the excess. So I'm gonna start, I always tend to be red around this area, and then I have dark under eyes. So I'm gonna start by working on those areas first. And I'm just gonna work my way down. So with concealer, anytime you're doing a concealer, you don't wanna just do your under eye right here. You wanna bring it down and blend it. So kind of like a triangle, you're gonna start at the inner corner of your eye, bring it down. I usually bring it down to my nostril, and then up like this and over. So it creates this triangle effect. This just blends it so you don't have those raccoon eyes. And then I am going to go over my eyelids. And then same thing with the other side. And then I like to do my nose because it tends to be really red. All right, if you have any areas where you have breakouts, I have one right here, you can do those as well. But I found that it usually blends them in and I don't have to do that. All right, next I'm going to take the foundation brush, and it says foundation on there. And I'm going to spray my brush again. And then I'm just going to dip this in my powder and tap off the excess. So I like to work in circular motions and really buff this into my skin. You don't want it to just be sitting on the top of your skin. You really want to like work it in. So I'm just applying gentle pressure, blending it all out. I'm going to spray my brush again. And the nice thing too about this foundation, it is buildable color, meaning you can kind of layer it. And again, when I first heard that, I was like, that is not going to work for somebody with dry skin, but I promise it doesn't look cakey. You don't even notice, and it works. And then I always like to do down my neck as well, so that it really blends that. Okay, once I've done my first layer, I like a little bit more full coverage, so I'm going to do a second layer. So I'm just getting a little bit more up here in the top, or a lot more. So spray my brush again, kind of swirl and tap. And then I'm going to start in the center of my face where I tend to be more red and work my way out. I feel like the more you apply the makeup towards the center of your face and feather it out, the more it's gonna look natural. Because it's really hard to blend it along your hairline with any makeup. And I don't really like to get foundation in my hair. Makeup addicts like me. So let's say I love Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. It's a very heavy, full coverage makeup. It's also full of chemicals and full of things that are endocrine disruptors, which is where I noticed that I was getting a lot of hormonal breakouts. So when I switched to using Savvy Minerals, it's not the same look with the full coverage. It's not noticeable, but it covers in the sense that it covers any imperfections. It really blends. I have a lot of freckles and age spots. It really blends those in well without breaking my skin out. So it's worth investing in, and it's worth using long term. So the biggest question I get from people is they don't feel like it's covering breakouts enough. Definitely try layering it, you know, add another layer, and also just stick with it, because the breakouts will clear up as time goes on, as this stuff kind of helps your skin heal. And then I do like to go over my nose again, because I don't know why, I just get really red right here. All right, so once that's all really blended, I will move on to the next thing. So next video, we will talk a little bit more about blush, the different blush colors, and then also bronzers.